Dr. Joe DeMarco, chiropractor and owner of OcraMed Health. And today we're in the office, we're talking about spinal mobility. You know, a lot of injuries occur in the gym because of losing mobility in certain normal ranges of motion. And the reason we lose mobility is we stop working it. You know, when it comes to the spine, you have to remember the spine can move in a lot of different directions. You know, we can bend forward, we can arch back. We can also rotate side to side, and we can bend side to side. And so there's a lot of normal ranges of motion when we're dealing with the spine. But if you're like me and you watch people in the gym, I like to observe people working out and stretching. One of the most common things I see when it comes to stretching the spine, if you watch people observe what they're doing, is most people, their primary thing that they do is they tend to stretch just forward. You know, you watch people, they're touching their toes, they might be stretching the one leg or the other, and the majority of the stretches they're working is just stretching flexion, you know, just kind of bending forward. You know, very seldom do you even see people getting and doing anything that involves extension. And, you know, if they do, that's great. But when it comes to other motions, I mean, I very, very seldom see people working any type of rotation, lateral flexion. They're just kind of like in a very limited plane of motion when they're stretching. And what happens is they're going to lose mobility over time, and especially as we get older, we lose the mobility quickly, unfortunately. And they go in the gym, now they're doing a particular exercise that requires a particular range of motion of the back, and it's limited. Of course, you're in the gym, so now you're adding resistance to probably that exercise, and that's a formula for an injury. Limited range of motion while you're adding resistance to a movement, you're going to get injured. So what I want to do with today is just kind of share some of my favorite spinal stretches that involve rotation. Like I said, I very seldom see people work this, and it's so important to keep working on your rotational movements of your spine, and that's what I'm going to go over with all of you today. So here we go. One of my favorite back stretches that involve a rotation is we're just going to get down in like a lunge position. So if you have your left leg forward and your right leg back, so the left leg is forward, I'm going to take my right hand and put it down lined up with my left foot, just like this. And then I'm going to take my arm and I'm going to start to rotate my back. I'm going to bring my arm and I'm going to follow it with my head so that it's pointed right to the ceiling. And I'm just going to hold this position for 30 seconds. And then after 30 seconds, I'm going to come down and I'm going to kind of rotate the opposite way. So I'm going to try to put my shoulder, my left shoulder towards my left knee, and I'm bringing my arm right across, and I'm going to hold that for 30 seconds. And then I'm going to open it back up the other way, just like that. And what I'll do is I'll go 3 times this way, holding for 30 seconds, and 3 times this way, holding for 30 seconds. That's a great stretch for your spine that involves multiple planes of motion. In particular, you know, we're working that rotation that's often limited. Next stretch, we're just going to sit on the ground, and I'm going to cross, of course, both sides. I'm going to just demonstrate one side on all these stretches. Of course, whatever we do on the left, we're going to do it on the right. Next stretch, we're going to cross the left ankle over the right leg, just like this, and bring it in as tight to your chest as you can. So my left leg is crossed over. I'm going to use my right arm and I'm going to hug that knee as tight as I can towards my chest. Then I'm going to take my left arm, I'm going to bring it behind me, and I'm going to pull my left shoulder back and look over my left shoulder, and I'm going to hold that for 30 seconds. So this is giving me a great stretch through my spine. At the same time, I'm getting a stretch through the hip and the leg. And I'm going to look back 30 seconds. I'm going to do this 3 times to the left, and then of course we'll switch it up and go the other way. Next, we're going to get down. We're going to get on both knees, and I'm going to reach back with my left hand. I'm just going to put it on the ground with my palm flat, and I'm going to take my right arm and I'm going to reach over and back in this position, just like that. And I'm going to hold this for 30 seconds. We're going to go 3 times in this position, and then of course we'll switch up and go to the opposite side 3 times for 30 seconds. Next, we'll get in a little rotation along with some extension. I'm going to let the hips drop down so I'm in an extended position. And I'm going to look over my left shoulder till I can see my feet. And I'm going to drive the right shoulder forward a little bit. Once again, we're going to hold that for 30 seconds, 3 times. But I'll be alternating it by looking the opposite direction, going to the right side, looking over my right shoulder. Just like that. So that's going to get some extension with rotation, which are normal ranges of motion. And then finally, we're going to get down on the knees. We're going to stretch forward in this position, which is just a great overall stretch for the back. But from this position now, I'm going to take my right arm, I'm going to bring it through and under, and I'm going to try to place my face right down on the floor, and I'm on my right shoulder, and I'm going to hold this for 30 seconds in this position. And just so you can see from a different angle, I'm coming through, the head's going on the floor, the shoulders on the ground, and we're going in the opposite direction. All right, so there you have it. Those are some of my favorite spinal mobility movements, stretches that involve rotation. If you're not doing any of those, or you're not doing any type of rotation, you have to start working those into your mobility, your stretching routines, because you're going to lose that mobility and rotation, and that's just going to run, we're going to run into problems. So start slowly adding those in. Don't worry about the range of motion. Just go to comfortable positions that feel okay and slowly try to increase the motion. Of course, like any stretch, especially when you're dealing with rotation, make sure you're warmed up well. Don't do these stretches first thing out of bed in the morning, okay? All right, so I hope you found those stretches helpful. Like I said, start working them into your normal stretching routines. All right, mobility plans, exercise programs, fascia release instruments to help increase mobility, our SRI shock release instrument, and our new Core Flex ab roller are all available on my website, www.OcraMedHealth.com. So when you have some time, go check it out. If you're enjoying these videos, please subscribe to my channel, OcraMed Health on YouTube. Questions about exercises or injuries, just leave a comment in the comment section below. I always get back to everyone who writes in. And don't forget, OcraMed Health is here to keep you fit forever.